YouTube, it's your boy FPL Kayman, and I'm back here with a brand new video. And in today's video, we'll be covering my Game Week 3 team review, as well as my Game Week 4 transfer plans and some team selections. So without further ado, let's dive in. So to start with, as you guys can see, your boy had unfortunately another red arrow in Game Week 3. I think we had a green arrow in Game Week 2, but unfortunately we had another small red arrow. We were around 5 million last week, but this week again, we're still in 5.4 million. Unfortunately, we got 50 points. I took a minus for here, as you guys know, and I bought in Anderson as well as Kudus, and I bought in Haaland. Haaland did pay off. Ultimately, I did bring him in to captain him, and he did, work out. Ultimately, he got 9 points. But Kudus and Anderson was a big letdown. Anderson in 3 games in a row, he hit 11 DEFCON, only one shy of hitting that DEFCON threshold 12, to get those 2 extra points. And unfortunately, he did not get that. And you also have Salah, who, to be honest, let's be honest, I want him to blank because a lot of people did captain him versus Arsenal. Let's not talk about who did. Let's just say the casuals did. And then you also had Rodgers and Reinders. The Villa boys continue to disappoint. Both Konsa as well as Rodgers let me down. Konsa got 1 point. Rodgers blanked with 2 points. And Nico Williams and Sells first on forward watch. Absolute bombs. Another clean sheet wiped. And my goodness, West Ham scoring 3 goals. That was not on my bingo card. And Richards, Mr. Clutch, he got me DEFCON points as well as a clean sheet. So I was really fortunate to start him. There was a bit of dilemma going to the deadline. It was between Richards and Anderson. And luckily, I did pick the right one in picking Richards. And we ended up with 8 points. So that did help massively. And then you got João Pedro, who's a shapeshifter R9. This guy cannot stop scoring. I mean, he could have scored at least a hat-trick in that game versus Fulham. And then, I mean, goodness, Chelsea, these bums. Like, this is the second game week in a row where they actually considered a goal, which was a right goal, by the way, and the ref overturned it, calling it a foul in play and whatnot. Absolute joke thing. Chelsea, realistically, they should only have 1 clean sheet. They should not have had 2 clean sheets, but at this moment in time. And then you got, bench? I got Anderson, 3 points. He hit DEFCON again, by the way. He's consistently hitting DEFCON. You also have Step as well as Creepy Jr. Overall, 50 points. Bit disappointed, if I'm being honest with you. I did expect more from my players such as Kudus as well as Anderson and maybe even Rodgers as well. But again, they gave me nothing. But it is what it is. We move. So now let's move into my Game Week 4 transfer plans and see what I'm cooking up. For Game Week 4, I'm currently looking at 2 options. I have either I can go from Creepy Jr. to Mateta. I have 3.4 million in the bank. I have more than enough money to be able to go to him. Who has Sunderland at home. Great fixture, by the way. However, although I was high on him and I did plan my transfers in order to accommodate for him, and it looks like it might not be the right thing to do right now, considering the fact that Sarri picked up an injury last week, and then you also have Wharton that picked up an injury in the international duties. You also have Mark Guehi, who is the centre back that's going to be also missing potentially due to injury as well. And Wharton, I mean, Wharton, Sarr, Mark Guehi, like, who's going to service them? There's no longer Eze as well. Like, there's too many injuries. Eze is missing. I mean, who are you relying on? Kamada in midfield to be able to service Mateta. Although I do rate Mateta as a striker, I feel like Glasner is going to struggle along with Palace against Sunderland to some extent. I know it's a promoted team still, but I can still see them struggling considering the fact that they're missing a lot of the key players. But again, it is Glasner. You never know, this guy can pull off a miracle and he could end up smashing them 3 or 4-0, and I would not be surprised if I'm being honest. But I have to take things into consideration, consider the fact that there is new information, i.e. the injury of Wharton, i.e. the injury of Mark Guehi, as well as you also have Sarr being out. And as I said, not Eze as well. So currently, I'm a bit more cautious of whether to go Mateta or not. Hence, I'm considering a plan B in whether to bring Virgil van Dijk because of Burnley at home. And I get to get rid of one of the Forest boys in my team, in Nico Williams. As you guys did know, the Nuno did end up getting sacked. And now they did hire Ange. And as you guys know from last season, Ange likes to play that high line. He plays high press game. And he doesn't really care too much about clean sheets. I think last year for Spurs, he got like 5 or 6 clean sheets only throughout the whole year. Like, they were abysmal defensively. And if I'm being honest, I think Spurs is a better team than Forest. And they finished 15th. Where will Ange finish with Forest? God knows, probably relegation. But yeah, I think Forest might be going a downhill at the moment. And I'm not personally high on that signing. I don't think Nuno deserved that sacking, to be honest with you. And I'm not a fan of that owner either. I think he's too much involved in the football club and the business that's going on in day to day. And I think potentially this is the time where even though the Forest guys have really good fixtures, I think I might be looking for a way out, especially in double defense, which has been abysmal so far. So I think I'm somewhat leaning towards Virgil van Dijk. He's also leading the league in DEFCON as well. He's got the most DEFCON out of any defenders. And I think Liverpool, I mean, although they've been suspect defensively, the fixtures that are coming up in Burnley to start off with, which is a great entry point. And then you also have Everton at home. And then you got Palace. I mean, Palace without Sarr, Wharton, what are they going to do really? I think the next seed there could be clean sheets along with DEFCON. So Virgil van Dijk does make sense to me in the long term. So yeah, these are two options I'm considering, guys. Let me know which one you guys would prefer in the comment section below. So now let's move into my game week 4 team selection. So for my game week 4, this is how I'm lining up. By the way, this is not confirmed. This is somewhat my boss team / one transfer that I'm potentially leaning towards. I could still change my mind and I could potentially go with Mateta. But as I said, I'm leaning towards Virgil van Dijk due to the fact that my defense is not that great. I don't have much depth. So I do look to upgrade, plus getting rid of one Forest D is also a pro, especially when they're playing Arsenal. So yeah, I'm starting off with Virgil van Dijk, who potentially will be my new transfer in. It's not 100% locked in, but I'm 90% sure I'll be bringing him, who does face Burnley away. And I also have Anderson, so along with Konsa, Richards, and of course I got Sales in goal. The backline does look quite strong this week, except for Sales, who does play Arsenal away, but I'm hoping for at least some save points. Considering the fact that Ange loves to play attacking football, I'm hoping maybe the shots that are taken by opponents are somewhat increased, hence potentially it's good for Sales to get some save points. I'm not expecting a clean sheet, to be honest with you guys, at all. In terms of Richards, Konsa, and Anderson, they all have great fixtures. Anderson has Leeds at home. Leeds have been struggling to score a goal from open play, guys. Anderson does play Leeds. We have yet to score a goal from open play, which is a good sign for a clean sheet. Also, we can maybe get some DEFCON as well, as he has been getting consistently. Konsa, if he doesn't give me a clean sheet, he's absolutely useless. He did score a bullet header in the international duty, though, so hopefully he can get another one versus Everton. And then you also have Richard, is another DEFCON beast. He's got a good fixture as well. So I do like my backline this week. Now moving on to my midfield, I've got Mo Salah along with Kudus, Rodgers, and Reinders. Yes, I am benching Anderson, but the reason why is because I was able to bring in Virgil van Dijk for Nick Williams, so I can play 4 at the back this week. So yeah, my midfield is somewhat also decent, to be honest with you, on paper. Reinders, now that Marmoush is injured, he should play the 10 role, and if he does play the 10, and if he does play the 10 role, I do expect some GA, especially what we saw him do versus Wolves. Potentially he can replicate that. Although he's playing my team, I do think that there was going to be a high-scoring game. And Kudus, it's a bit of a disappointment, I'll be honest, but it is his old club, West Ham. I expect to go from him at least. And Rodgers, my goodness, this guy has been disappointing throughout the whole season so far. Now, is he going to finally reward me, or I'm just going to have to hold on to him just because of the fixtures? It's really annoying, the fact that I still have to own him, considering the fact that he blanked 3 game weeks in a row. So yeah, let's hope he can do well. I mean, I also saw him play for England in the 10 role. He played really well. So hopefully Emery finally fixes up and don't play him on the left wing and he actually plays in his natural role. They also made some key signings by signing Elliott from Liverpool. So hopefully that will improve their attack. And then you also have Salah, who does have the captaincy armband, currently does play Burnley away. I'm contemplating whether to triple captain him. I do think it's a very good fixture for him, but he's been a bit off it. His form is not really there. His touch is quite poor. As of recently, when I watch football, he doesn't really feel with confidence. But that's what Mo Salah does. He doesn't look very good on the eye test very often, but he still shits GA, right? So potentially this is an opportunity where not many people are considering to triple captain him. I'm considering Salah TC. But again, maybe there's another better opportunity, especially when Haaland plays Burnley at home in game week 6. But it's a dilemma that I have to consider. But it is on the cards potentially. I'm going to look at more data and see, what's the data like versus Burnley, as well as like who is the ref and other key data. If you guys want to check that out, make sure to go get the Patreon. My boy Thinking Cap, aka Benji, who does really in-depth analysis on captaincy. So I'll be looking at that analysis and then I'll be making a decision whether to TC Salah this week or not. But it is on the cards potentially. I'm not ruling it out. And it's another reason why I think, because I don't have that many Liverpool attackers. A lot of people are on free hit with double or triple Liverpool attack. I only have Salah. I mean, Virgil, don't get me wrong, if I add him, it is a good option as well because he's got a bullet header threat. But I just think it's a good opportunity where not many content creators are talking about TC and Salah, which is somewhat for good reasons as well, because he's not looked at it recently. But I still think there's an opportunity to get in there, and it's not a terrible TC at all. Burnley are shocking, and Salah's away record is also very good. So yeah, I am entertaining the potential of TCing Salah, but as I said, I need to look at more data, and yeah, I think he's not really filled me with too much confidence from the eye test perspective as well. And as you guys do know, I do love an eye test. And as you guys do know, I'm a bit of an eye test manager, considering the fact that this season I have been using a bit more data still. But yeah, moving on to my forwards, I do have the Shapeshifter R9 in JP, which plays Brentford away, great fixture. And then I have the main man, Earl of Norway, Erling Haaland, who scored 4 goals as well as 1 assist. He's got 5 GA in the international duty when he plays versus Moldova. They scored like 10-something goals. So Haaland is in insane form. And that's another reason why I'm somewhat reluctant to, use my TC, because of the fact that this man is on some another level right now. He's scoring goals for fun. Like, would you be surprised if he scores a hat-trick versus Burnley at home in game week 6? I would not, especially considering the fact that I'm not on free hit 6 now. So I do have a really good option between choosing Salah or Haaland. Like, it's just that I go back to this thing of like, okay, a midfielder gets extra point for goal, extra point for a clean sheet. And there are more routes to points for Salah compared to Haaland. But again, it's a close decision. Make sure to tune into my deadline to see who do I do TC. But yeah, I talked about it enough. But overall, the team does look really good. On the bench, you've got obviously Dubravka with Anderson, Esteve, as well as Krippiger. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. That's how your boys lining up. Now let's look at some odds for this week in terms of clean sheet as well as attacking threat. So as you guys can see on the screen, you got your likes of Arsenal as well as Liverpool. They're high for both goals as well as clean sheet this week. And you also have Palace, who are also really high for clean sheet. So if you're targeting a defense this week, there's a lot of options, as I said. Palace, Arsenal, as well as Liverpool. You could also potentially go for Fulham as well. They all have great fixtures. And I think one team has been slept on, which is Newcastle. I think they can also get a clean sheet, considering the fact that Sean Larson is still injured. And that Wolves team does look abysmal at this moment in time. And then you also have potentially, if you're looking for a clean sheet, maybe Villa, but I highly doubt it probably. But yeah, there's a lot of clean sheet option this week. And you also have really good attack. Like I think Arsenal's attacking data a bit surprising there. They're quite up there with Liverpool in terms of the expected goals this week. And I think that's partly due to the fact that Ange has been hired and people are expecting, or the odd makers are expecting Ange to play a higher line, potentially pressing game. Hence, maybe there's a bit more goals in it. So I think when I've heard that news that obviously Ange has been hired, I literally tweeted out saying, yeah, Gakura's owners are celebrating right now. They're laughing. So yeah, I think this week, Arsenal attacker is not the worst idea. If you have like the likes of Eze or even Gakura's, Gakura is going to be a really good option this week, especially on free hit. I think if you're on free hit, you should definitely consider him. I think if you're on free hit, it's very tough because a lot of people are considering to having both Salah and Haaland, but then you got to choose between Haaland versus Gakura's. I think it's a close call personally, but I probably slightly favor Haaland, but it is a extra 4 million. So yeah, there's a lot to take into consideration. But yeah, the odds does look good for clean sheet this week. I think probably this is another reason why I'm leaning towards buying a defender more than an attacker. If you're looking at Palace attack, it has gone down somewhat considering the fact that there's been recent injuries as well. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Make sure to smash the like button. Make sure to subscribe. Leave a comment down below. And I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.